Hmm? So now we have come to the teaching of the precepts, and the precept is mainly needed for every Buddhist practitioner throughout his or her spiritual journey, but even more importantly for the beginners, to discipline yourself from your mind, your body, and your speech. It's like organizing your mind, body, speech in a proper way, so that you don't bring more problems for yourself, and also you can accomplish what you want to. Like even if you want to accomplish in the spiritual way, for example, to realize the truth of Dharma, or to control your mind, to become a good practitioner, whatever. And apart from that also, if you only want to accomplish the materialistic goals in your life, even for that purpose also, you need to organize your mind, body, and speech. Because if you do not get disciplined with your mind, body, and speech, they are supposed to, or they tend to react in an uncontrolled way. They will all be executed by your subconscious mind, which is kind of collects all the habitual pattern, the habit your mind is addicted to. So those are the habitual pattern or habitual data. So they all are collected by your subconscious mind. And if you haven't trained your mind, if you at least even haven't disciplined your mind, speech, and body, then you are unable to stop yourself from doing the mistakes which brings more problem to you. And when we speak about the disciplines, even more than the mind itself, the training your mind, controlling your mind is the main purpose of Buddhism, practice of Buddhism. But generally, the discipline we are talking about is, whether be it with the mind practice or not, but at least your speech and your actions should be in a proper way. It should be as in the Eightfold Path, it should be the right action, right speech, right livelihood. So why do you need at least your speech and body or your action to be in a proper way? Because you become a social alien if you do not behave in a way what you should be behaving. And there are like some social protocols in the different society of the world. Like you should behave like this, you should have manner like this. So those are the manners or behaviors or disciplines that you should have in those certain societies. But the discipline, what we are talking about from the precepts of Buddhism, is like a universal discipline. Because when you discipline your body and speech, and of course mind also, then you will not become a social alien in any society. Because you appear as a good person, you appear as a compassionate person, you appear as a person who does not believe in violence, who does not want to hate others, who does not want to harm others, who does not want to discriminate others. So when you become like a nice, honest, humble guy, then almost any society will accept you. You will become acceptable for any society. So that's why And also, whether you are supposed to be practicing dharma or not, if you are not disciplined with yourself, for instance, the people who we call the practitioners, but who are not disciplined, not well disciplined, then reacting to their actions, like the monks nowadays, some people have so many hateful or critical words for those monks, but they are supposed to be a sangha, a Buddhist member. So if one sangha member is not disciplined, speaks wrong speech, does wrong actions, and if he or she represents the Buddhist community, then the people or the society will not only criticize himself or herself only. They will criticize the whole Buddhist community. And that makes even worse for everybody. So, for that matter also, and second matter is, so if you if you do not have good discipline while you are practicing or not practicing, criticism from the society will not only defame the Buddhist community, but they will be making your life difficult also. So you will become the point of criticism for everybody. And when you are not disciplined, when your mind is not unstable, like taking or accepting the criticism becomes even more difficult. When you are a proper practitioner, and when even though if you are a good, if you have good discipline, and even then if somebody criticizes you, it's no problem, because you are a good practitioner. Doesn't matter. But like if you have already not become a good practitioner, those criticism or the becoming a social alien will be even more difficult. And not only your spiritual life, your normal life will be also become like a hell. So that's why in these many aspects, and not only our spiritual aspects, when people don't have these normal precepts, like firstly we speak about the 5 precepts, which should be the base or basic for everybody, for the normal people, for the lawmakers, for the governors, for the politicians, for everybody. 5 precepts is fundamental for everybody. Even in Buddha's time, like some kings, some lawmakers would consult with Buddha. So how could I run my country? How could I organize my country? So like Buddha only taught them about going by the precepts, following the 5 precepts, and you'll have no problem. In any kind of situation, like in your country or in your life, in your society, if you have 5 precepts, if you follow 5 precepts, then it will make easier for everything, even to decide some difficult case. So like now I have already mentioned like so many importance from different dimension about the precept and discipline. And yes, when we are talking about discipline, when I remember, I always want to mention or indicate that about the different perspective of mine about the discipline. So the discipline we see all around the world today, with the government, with the judiciary government, with the institute, academies, offices, everywhere there are some discipline. Where there are a group of organized people, there is discipline. And there are some like rules and regulations you need to follow to be in that school, that college, that government, wherever. Even if you, as a one citizen of one country, you need to be obeying those disciplines, those rules and regulations. But right from my childhood, I am also one of those who broke lots of rules and regulations in my school time, in my monastery also. I used to get into like blacklist also. And probably I was that arrogant type of person. But what I came to realize gradually was it's difficult for everyone. When people tells you, then it's difficult. When people tells you what to do and what not to do, is very difficult for almost every being. Because we want to behave or take action by our own will. Whether we are doing something or not doing something, it always needs to come from our own choice. Even things we want to do, when someone tells us to do, I think it becomes very difficult. That's why the main point of mine to make clear or clarify here is that probably there's no such thing called discipline, but there is this thing called self-discipline. So we can be self-disciplined. Like if you join some kind of office, some kind of institute, then when you already are self-disciplined and your self-discipline resembles with the rules of that academy, then it becomes very easier. You become popular in that institute because you are already self-disciplined. But if you are not self-disciplined, if you are not honest, if you like to steal others' possessions, if you like to have like extramarital affair, like all of these 5 precepts, when you don't have these 5 precepts following by yourself, then you can be alien in any institution you go. So that's why self-discipline is very important. So when we talk about self-discipline, like when our life passes by, we have different experiences, and we have good experience, we have bad experience, and we learn by the mistakes. The bad experience brought by our mistakes, we learn from them. So the experience we learn from the mistakes, most of the people don't want to repeat again. Like even your job, your hobbies, whatever it is. The mistake which you have already realized that this is mistake, this is bringing problem to myself, to others, and is stopping from making my things happen, then is how we learn from our mistakes, and we become disciplined. So that's one thing how we learn the discipline. And another thing is when some books, some teachers, or some elders, or anybody speak about the discipline, what to do or what not to do. Like when they tell us to do, what to not to do, it will be very difficult. But when someone says that what should we be doing or what should we not be doing, being a human, being a Buddhist or whatever, or being some kind of employee or student. So when somebody is mentioning about this thing, and if we are clever enough to see the consequences of disobeying that disciplinary advices, so we can learn from advice, from the teaching, from the advice. We cannot directly learn maybe, but if we observe in our mind, oh, the thing he is saying, the thing is written here, so if you think, oh, so consequence might come like this if I do like this, if I don't do like this. For example, right from my childhood, I was always so much sure about not getting married. Not having like intercourse with another person, another female. So, like I was almost sure about that thing. Although I did lots of stuffs apart from that, I was very sure about not. I want to become a monk. I want to have this spiritual life for myself, and I will probably not do marriage and not do intercourse, and like thinking like that. So, because I saw the consequences from other people. So, and also I think I am not suitable for marriage. Even people see me so much calm and peaceful person now, but still, I think if I get married, I think I'll be unable to control my life. I'll maybe not be able to tolerate the life partner you get from the marriage. So, like that was one of the example, like how you can self-discipline yourself. So this is like an advice for anybody or everybody, that when we can self-discipline ourselves, seeing the consequences of doing or not doing that particular thing, then maybe we should self-discipline ourselves with that, and that's the best discipline. And if and to go into the 5 precepts firstly. So 5 precepts is mainly a very, very apparent type of discipline, which is like people can figure out whether you are following that precept or not. It's like external precepts. Like for number 1 is non-violence. Non-violence, not killing, not harming in minimum. So non-violence is the ethic of spiritual practice. And according to me, as I think I should, like in any religion, any spiritual path, I think non-violence should be the mandatory one. Because it pisses me off, like when I see people like they are spiritual, they are wearing some kind of robes, they represent some religion, but they believe in killing and sacrificing animals, and some religion think like, oh, animals are made by God to be our food. Then why are they breathing? Why are they feeling the pain? Why they seem like living beings? If your God was supposed to have them as your food, you shouldn't have put life into them. Like the plants. Like plants, there is also debate with the plants that they are probably like they feel pain or something, but still like it's difficult to assume that plants feel pain. I think plants are living things, but maybe not living beings. But anyhow, like animals, we can see like they go through so much pain when they are killed, when they are beaten, when they are tortured. So that's why non-violence should be mandatory for every religion, every spiritual path, every practice. And anyhow, it's like the door to enter through the spiritual path. Some people feel like, oh, I'm following non-violence precept. I'm being vegetarian. I'm being vegan. I'm not harming animals, and they feel like proud. But it's not that much to feel like a proud person. It's just a normal thing which most of the people find difficult to follow. But when you are into the spiritual journey, it's just a small thing. The first thing is the first step you should complete. So anyhow, it's like normal sense, that common sense to understand that as you get harmed, as how you feel while you get tortured, punished, killed, it's same to other animals also. So whether other animals or other people, you should not be harming or killing them. You should not believe in violence. That's the number one precept. So that is the precept related with the action. And the second one is stealing. So not taking away from somebody which does not belong to you. So so that's what we call stealing. And also, if understanding the cause and effect theory, like when you are stealing, if you keep stealing, the result of karma is like you always you don't get anything enough in your life. That's the result of the stealing karma. Like the food, you will never have enough. Money, you will never have enough. So like it's like inadequation or inadequate. If you keep stealing, that is the result of karma. But anyhow, like you should understand or feel how you will feel when your things are stolen or lost. So in the same way, you should be enjoying, you should be using whatever you deserve. So what you have earned is your karma. So you should only enjoy your karma. If you can donate to others, that's even better. But at least you can enjoy whatever you have earned. And especially for the like rules of a nation, the stealing is like the biggest crime. Like not the biggest crime, killing is the biggest crime, but like stealing is big. It creates more problem in one country. Not just stealing. When we are talking about stealing, it's like corruption. For Nepal, is corruption. Like we have earthquake, like maybe millions and billions of contribution were sent by lots of the countries around the globe, and what the leaders did was just hide it in their pocket, hide it in their bank balance. So they were supposed to be given to the earthquake victims, but maybe 5% or 1% victim have maybe received those relief materials or money or something. So anyhow, that's the thing. And the third precept, the second precept is also related with the body action, and the third related is also we can also say extramarital affair. Also, we can say sexual misconduct. So the sexual misconduct is also like for the monks, ordained monks. It should be like you are not supposed to marry. You are not supposed to have affair with anybody. But now we are talking about the precept for the lay people. For the lay people, like you are supposed to have like one life partner, and especially maybe this was more favorable teaching for Asian people. I don't know how about Western people, because maybe like you can have different partners at different time, but at the same time it's maybe difficult or illegal thing to have like two wives or two husbands. So I think it's pretty much same everywhere. So only difference is divorce is very normal in West, and in Asia divorce is abnormal. Like even your husband is torturing you, punishing you, making your life hell, like a hell. Even then you are supposed to keep worshipping your husband as a god. And also there is a saying in Nepali and Indian tradition, like when you marry, your marriage or your relation with that husband is for 7 lives. You are not able to tolerate one life and you are together for 7 lives. I think it's like a joke, number one. And even if that happens, then that's like the biggest pain, biggest suffering. You cannot suffer for 7 lives with same person. And I think in the West maybe it's like 7 months, which is average lasting duration of the relation.
Less chance after.
7 months or 7 years, maximum 7 years, minimum 7 months. Anyways, the divorce system has made it easy in West, and here it still is difficult. But anyhow, what we are trying to mention here is you cannot have like multiple relations at one time. So you should be loyal to your husband, to your wife, and at least till you have not the divorce done, you should be like loyal to your life partner and not have extramarital affair, sexual misconduct, and also not only in your life. It creates problem for everybody around, the family related with those people, and also like the society itself becomes very dirty. Yeah, and like people also get wrong inspiration. Oh, I can do that, and everybody becomes immoral. So like to maintain a moral value and moral environment, like everybody should not be breaking those moral values. So this is the third precept, which is also related with the action and body, and the fourth one is related with speech, not telling lies. So truth is fundamental for everything and anything. If there is not truth based on it, then everything becomes waste. So like the relation or whatever, your job, your family, you should be speaking truth. Also speaking about, like telling about the speaking truth, I keep saying that your speech and your